Cedar Key is an island town in the northern part of Florida that has a population less than 700 people. Most travel on the island is done by foot or on bicycles until Tacky Bus Company began their public transportation venture in the town February of 2017. Tacky Bus was the first public transportation company on the island. They deliver their passengers to all the major attractions. The company has earned profitability being the only company in the public transportation industry in Cedar Key. However, months after Tacky Bus began operation, they received fines for polluting local waterways with miscellaneous hazardous materials and waste. Along with this, the pH levels in the water around Cedar Key has dropped, making the water more acidic, the natural area is deteriorating, and the local economy is suffering as a result of Tacky Bus arriving on the island. The issue is whether under the Clean Water Act, Florida statutes, and local ordinances, Tacky Bus can be held liable for damages caused by its contributions to the pollution that led to the environmental damage in and around Cedar Key, which resulted in the collapsing local economy and ecology of the region.
In 1972, the U.S. government passed an important law to protect our country's waterways. The Clean Water Act regulates dumping of waste and hazardous materials into waters of the United States. In order to find the defendant liable for violating the Clean Water Act, we must show that Tacky Bus has violated each individual element of the law. The Clean Water Act states that punishable elements of improper discharge of hazardous waste are as follows. A person negligently or knowingly discharges oil or a hazardous substance from a specific source into a water of the United States upon adjoining shorelines or up to 24 miles offshore in a harmful quantity without a permit. Tacky Bus knowingly dumps bathroom waste, including human waste and chemicals used to clean the bathrooms, into the local waterway. The Clean Water Act states that the penalty for such negligent violations can be up to $25,000 per day. According to the Clean Water Act, the only way a company can avoid these penalties is by obtaining a National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit. Tacky Bus did not hold such a permit. Tacky Bus is a litter bug. The state of Florida has a litter law. The law makes it illegal for anyone to litter, especially if it impacts the health of people, animals, or the environment. Since Tacky Bus began dumping its bathroom waste into the waterways, the formerly crystal clear waters have become murky and the manatee population has decreased. These are indications that Tacky Bus is a litter bug and it should be held responsible for its negligent behavior. In 2003, Florida showed how serious it was about punishing litter offenders. In the case of State v. Davis, the state sued a property owner for littering on his very own property. It is even more serious for someone to dump garbage on property that is meant for the public to enjoy. The city of Cedar Key values the precious nature of its environment. The city passed ordinances to punish offenders who litter within the city limits. Just 8 months after the Tacky Bus started doing business in Cedar Key, the city fined it for unlawfully dumping trash and hazardous waste. Tacky Bus paid that fine, but it did nothing to rectify the damages it caused.
State v. Davis also cited the public nuisance violation, which states, any nuisance that annoys the community, injures the health of the citizens, or corrupts the public morals that are misdemeanors will become felonies if they violate any other state or local law. Tacky Bus Company violated multiple laws and admitted as much when they were caught and agreed to pay the associated fines. But their littering of trash and waste into the water surrounding Cedar Key has also become a public nuisance, as it has annoyed the community and caused injury to the ecology of the environment. A violation of this magnitude is considered a felony, punishable by much greater fines and in extreme cases, jail time. Their willful violation of the rules and laws set forth by the city of Cedar Key is a travesty. These laws fall well within the validity of the Florida State Constitution and, as in Avatar Development Corp. versus State, they should be penalized to the fullest extent, held accountable not only for the fines, but also the widespread environmental cleanup that is now necessary to return Cedar Key to its former state. Under the Hazardous Materials Incident Cost Recovery and Hazardous Materials Incident Liability for Cost laws of Cedar Key, Tacky Bus shall be held liable for the cost of recovery for all damages and cleanup fees their dumping of human waste and vehicle fluids has caused to the environment and in turn the economy. This is not the first such case in Florida history, and it will not be the last. Companies continually operate in detrimental ways without fear of repercussions. In Kurt v. Mosaic Fertilizer, the court found that plaintiffs need not own the land that was contaminated in order to recover for economic loss due to the contamination. Since Tacky Bus's arrival on and subsequent polluting of Cedar Key, the economy has begun to collapse. Some of the Cedar Key Business Association members have been forced to close their doors, while others have lost thousands of dollars in revenue as the pollution has chased their main source of income, tourists, to other vacation spots. Under the Pollutant Discharge Prevention and Control Act, Tacky Bus Company is liable for damages and loss of income that the Cedar Key Business Association members have suffered.
Cedar Key was known for its beautiful beaches and crystal clear waters. People came from all over the world to sail, kayak, fish, and enjoy all the wonders of nature this beautiful island has to offer. The people who call it home earn their living, in part, by catering to these tourists, making their time spent here one to treasure and remember. But all that changed when Tacky Bus Company came to the island. They were caught dumping oil and fluids, human waste, and trash from their tacky buses into the beautiful waters, contributing the pollution that caused a 3% decrease in wildlife, contributing to the rising levels of acid in the waters, and a decrease in the number of tourists visiting the island. Tacky Bus Company will argue that they paid the fine for this transgression. They changed their policies and have become stewards of the environment in and around Cedar Key. The damage they caused is done. The pollution they dumped has had lasting effects on the water and the animals and the people who call Cedar Key home. It is for these reasons that Tacky Bus Company shall be held liable for both the environmental and financial damages they have inflicted, especially if they truly wish to be stewards of the land and the friends to Cedar Key that they claim to be.
There is a whole world full of legal uncertainty pertaining to climate change as the laws are continuously written and overwritten to accommodate the rapid changes in the environment. The world reacts to the changes, and still more that have yet to be written. The process is one of collaboration, but leaves much to be desired when it comes to such serious infractions as causing climate changes or releasing an exorbitant amount of greenhouse gases into our shared atmosphere. The difference between what is considered a trespass versus nuisance versus nothing to be done is mind-boggling. That there are so many things both people and corporations can suffer upon the world without having to answer to anyone. Fracking is destroying lives and livelihood, but nothing can be done, not yet. Our takeaway from this course is for every law for the protection of our resources, there are 10 more that are waiting to be written.
As a team, we decided to build team chemistry by getting to know one another. We determined our roles early and assigned workloads based on backgrounds. We set deadlines based as a group to ensure that deadlines agreed with assignment deadlines, along with what our team leader determined was ample amount of time to finish each of our assigned sections. We made sure to keep an open line of communication no matter where we were on the assignment.